Welcome to A Leader's Journey, the podcast for leaders who deeply believe there is a better way to lead and desire to create their unique journey towards becoming a legacy leader. I'm your host, Shannon Hammond. Over the last 20 years as a corporate leader and leadership performance coach, I've learned that many leaders believe there is a predefined path they have to follow and struggle leaning into their unique gifts that will create lasting impact and fulfillment. They end up feeling stuck, unhappy, and unfulfilled in the day-to-day of their role, and are challenged with why, since they have experienced success in their career and in life. I'm here to help leaders think through their leadership journey, learn how to ask themselves better questions, and learn the formula to create their leadership journey by design. If you are ready to design your unique leadership journey, lead with confidence, and love the teams you lead, then you are in the right place. Let's do this. Hello, my friends and fellow leaders. Welcome to A Leader's Journey. I'm your host, Shannon Hammond, and I'm glad to have you back here with me this week. If this is your first time tuning in, welcome. I'm so happy that you are here. I know that your time is valuable, and I'm grateful that you've chosen to spend some of it here with me this week, and that you are taking the time to invest in your growth and development as a leader. Gaining influence as a new leader isn't about your job title. It's about trust. My all-time favorite quote is by John Maxwell, and he said, "Leadership is influence, nothing more, nothing less." You've heard me say it many times before, and I have no doubt that you will hear it from me many more times in the future here on the podcast. As an emerging leader, you might feel like your title alone should command respect. But the truth is, influence is earned, not given. If you've ever struggled to get your team on board with your ideas or felt like your voice wasn't being heard in a leadership discussion, then this episode is for you. I know firsthand how frustrating it can be to work hard, share great ideas, and still feel like you're not making the impact that you want. But here's the good news. Influence is a skill you can develop. And today I will walk you through the key strategies that I have found that will help you establish credibility, gain trust, and inspire action in your team. Building credibility and trust with your team is critical for every leader, and especially those who are new to being in a leadership role, because you just don't have a track record of how you will perform as a leader. When you have credibility and trust, you can more easily get buy-in for ideas, projects, changes, and anything else that may come up that you want or need to have happen within your team. So today I want to chat about 4 key strategies that will help you in establishing credibility, gaining trust, and inspiring action in your team. You can implement these no matter where you are in your leadership journey. And even if you are still in an individual contributor role and you're working towards that first promotion and you're that leader in place, these strategies are for you and they will help you in that role too. And I would encourage you that if you find yourself in that place where you are still working towards that first leadership promotion, implement these strategies in your role today, because this is going to help you build that credibility and that track record and show your leaders how you will lead when that time comes that you are going to get promoted. All right, we're going to dive right in and talk through these. So strategy number 1 is listen first, then lead. One of the biggest mistakes that new leaders make is thinking that leadership is all about talking, when in reality, it's all about listening. Influence starts with really understanding the needs, the concerns, and the motivations of your team and your key stakeholders. You can't influence someone if you don't truly understand their needs. I want to encourage you, take the time to truly listen to what your team is saying and what they are not saying. You are going to have to read between the lines and not only just listen to their words, look at their body language. How are they responding? What does their tone sound like? Because they may not come right out and tell you what they are. Those are things you're going to have to kind of dig and look for. Getting that understanding of what they truly want and need, again, is really going to be helpful in that. I want to share a practical tip with you. So, before you propose a new idea, schedule time to talk with your team and really listen to them. Get yourself in that habit of asking open-ended questions. Those could be questions like, what challenges are we currently facing as a team? What's working well and what could be improved? Or maybe you want to ask, how can I, as your leader, support you in reaching your goals? I know one of the things that at the end of every one of my check-ins or one-on-ones with my employees, I always ask them how I, as their leader, can support them between the time from that one-on-one to the next one-on-one. Now I do mine every 2 weeks. So it's what can I do to best support you in the next 2 weeks? And I'm always asking that question because we're going to talk about what are the things that are coming up. Is there something that's maybe on their mind over the next 2 weeks? Is there a challenge that they're going to face? Are they taking on something new? And really taking that time to listen to them so I know how I need to show up. I can hear what they need, what they're going to be challenged with, and what they desire from me, and then I can deliver that. And as a leader, when your people feel heard, they are more likely to trust and support your leadership. All right, strategy number 2. And this one is really, really important for all leaders, but especially new leaders, because this is something that people desire and that they are looking for in a leader. So strategy number 2 is communicate a clear and compelling vision. People follow leaders with clarity and purpose. Influential leaders, they don't just give instructions. They paint a picture of what the future looks like that people want to be a part of, that their teams want to be a part of. And if you want buy-in, your team needs to understand why your idea matters and how it aligns with their individual goals. So a great way for you to implement this, and when you are presenting an idea, frame it around what is the problem that that idea is going to solve? What is the impact that that idea is going to create? And how does that idea align with the team or the company's vision, or maybe it's both? And does the idea that you are implementing, does it align with maybe some of the individual goals that are on your team? Or is it something that, when implemented, is going to help support their goals? So a great example, and some ways that you can phrase this to your team, is saying things like, instead of saying something like, we need to change the reporting structure in our team. This is something that we have done in my teams a couple times the last couple years, and I will tell you that everybody gets angst and anxiety when their leader changes, even if they are comfortable with the other leaders on the team. It has nothing to do with the other leaders. It has to do with the comfort level in the relationship and the progress that they've made with that leader. So instead of coming out and just being direct and telling your team, we need to change the reporting structure, you can rephrase it and add a little bit more context. Again, paint that picture and that compelling vision for them. And you can say something along the lines of like, by streamlining our reporting, we will free up more time for high value work. It will help reduce stress, and it's going to improve collaboration across the team. right? Hit those things that are very important to your team, right? It may not be those three things, but find the things that are most important and be able to tie how the change that you are going to make is going to impact those things and paint that picture and be clear about the impact that that change is going to have. All right, strategy number 3. Demonstrate consistency and reliability. Trust isn't built in a day. Influence is not built in a day, and nor are you going to just be handed those two things. They are all built through consistent actions over time. Your team needs to be able to see and know that they can rely on you to follow through on what it is that you say. And you have to show up consistently to build that trust. Because again, things happen over a period of time. Look at like when you start going to the gym, you could very easily get frustrated and give up that you're not feeling stronger in the first couple weeks, but you've got to give your body that time to build that muscle, and it may take 3 months, 4 months, 6 months. When I started getting back into my workout routine, it was a solid 6.5, 7 months almost before I started to really feel the changes in my body. Like I could tell that they were happening, but it took a long time before I started seeing some of the fruits of what I was doing in my workouts. Building trust with your team is no different. And that is going to require you as the leader to really be consistent and reliable. Again, your team has to be able to depend on you. So a great way for you to do this, and a really practical way for you to do this as an emerging leader, is if you commit to something, follow through. Again, do as you say as you do. If you make a mistake, own it and course correct and pivot to get it right. Don't let those mistakes go by. Don't try to brush it off and give a whole bunch of excuses. Just take ownership of it. You're human, they're human, and when they see you as a leader take ownership for your mistakes, they're in turn going to follow that lead and do the same for themselves. And that's going to help them understand and know that things are going to happen and it's okay. It's how we adjust from our mistakes that makes the difference. Be transparent about your thought processes and decisions. I have found that one of the worst things, even from my experiences, that you can say to somebody is, well, this is just a business decision. It leaves them with nothing, and it doesn't tell them what they could have done different. It doesn't explain why you made the decision that you did. It's almost like a cop-out of saying, well, I overrode the decision and it just is what it is, accept it. Well, that's not helping your team learn and grow. That's not building that trust in them. And that's not showing that the reliability in you, that you are going to help educate them when you're making decisions and those decisions are different from theirs. They want to understand how it is that you're thinking and how you're getting to the decisions that you're making, because again, that's helping them learn not only for their own personal growth, but it's helping them learn you as a leader. So when you start explaining your decisions, your team is going to know, okay, my leader is looking for these 5 things if I bring something to her, so I'm going to make sure that I come prepared with those, right? Or these are the things that are most important. So if I'm coming to my leader for some support or guidance or maybe approval on an escalated situation that requires their oversight, I'm going to come prepared with the things that I know that are most important or that they're going to look at. When people can see that you are dependable, that you align with your values, and your decisions align with both of those things, your influence is going to naturally grow. And you're going to start building that trust more quickly with the team members that you're working with. All right, strategy number 4. Use storytelling to make an impact and help get your message across. Most people, and I'm going to say the overwhelming majority of people, they don't connect with just data and facts alone. They connect with stories. If you think about the things that resonated with you most, it came through a story. It wasn't somebody saying, here's my spreadsheet with all of my data, right? Your team also wants to know that you, as their leader, that you've been there, done that, or that someone else has had that same type of experience and that they were able to get through it successfully. If you want to inspire action, share those real life examples that help create that emotional connection. Again, that kind of goes back to painting that picture and that vision. When you can tell a story and share a real life example, it realizes the situation. It makes people see that, oh, okay, well, this has happened before, and here's how we can work through it. It inspires ideas in them of, oh, okay, well, if this is how this happened before, here's ways that we can, take those things and apply them to our situation and do it again, or even build upon it and make the solution even better than what worked before. Again, instead of relying on stories alone, frame your ideas with things like a relatable challenge, right? You can say things like, I remember when I first struggled with whatever it is, right? It might be if you have somebody on your team who is newer to their role and maybe stepping into difficult conversations with a client is something that they are challenged with. You can tell a story and say, I remember when I first struggled with having difficult conversations with clients. And here are some of the things that I was able to implement that helped me work through it. I'm here for you, and we're going to work through this together. A relatable story might also be something that's personal for you, right? It might be sharing things of like, what's one of the biggest leadership lessons that you've had, or how did that come up through a decision that you had to make? Allow your team to get to know you and relate with you by learning more about your personal experiences. If you're implementing, say, a project that you really need your team to buy into, and you need to get buy-in on the outcome, this is where you can help paint that picture or that vision of what could success look like, right? Roll out your idea and you could share with them, imagine if we could do X, right? Imagine if we could, increase our productivity by 10%, or imagine if we had more time in our day to work on other projects or goals, or imagine if we could, maybe your team is struggling to leave on time every day. Imagine if we could walk out the door at 5 o'clock every day, whatever is most important for them. Paint that picture of what that future success or what that vision of success would look like, because that helps them put themselves in that place and they can see themselves there. And that's going to help them buy more into it because, again, they have that picture and that vision, and you've told a story that is going to create that emotional connection to it. That story, it takes your idea and it turns it into something that is more tangible, that is more memorable. And again, that's going to make it easier for you to get buy-in from your team. So those are our 4 strategies. I'm going to recap them for you again. So first, it's listen first, then lead. Strategy number 2 is communicate a clear and compelling vision. Strategy number 3 is demonstrate consistency and reliability. And strategy number 4 is use storytelling to really make an impact and connect with your team. Now, as you hear these 4 strategies, which one resonates with you the most? Is there one that you find yourself really stuck on and not really sure how you are going to implement that? If so, reach out and let's chat about it. I'd love to know where you are at in influencing your team, what you're currently working on, and how you're feeling about it so I can help you get that breakthrough. Reach out to me through LinkedIn or in my Leader's Journey community on Facebook, and let's talk about it today. You can also, if you're watching this on YouTube, leave a comment below on the video. And again, let me know how influence is going for you in your team. I appreciate you tuning in with me this week, and I hope that you are walking away with some practical strategies that you can implement to get buy-in and gain influence from your team. I hope that you tune in with me every week as we discuss strategies, development needs, and mindsets new leaders can leverage to step confidently into the right leadership roles for them. Until next time, my fellow leaders, lead with confidence, show up every day as the leader that you are striving to be, and make the decision today to level up your leadership this year. Thanks for listening to A Leader's Journey podcast. I hope you enjoyed this week's episode. If you're excited to learn more, be sure to subscribe to the podcast and tune in next week for another exciting leadership lesson. I'd love to help you level up your leadership, achieve the goals you desire, and design your unique leadership journey. So click the link in the show notes to schedule a free Level Up Your Leadership session. During this time, we will define where you are in several key areas of leadership, where you desire to be, and how you can level up your leadership. You don't need to do this alone, so let's chat today and get your journey started. Don't forget to connect with me on LinkedIn or in the A Leader's Journey community on Facebook, and share this episode with another leader so we can all learn and grow together. That's all for this episode, and I'll see you next week. Until then, lead with confidence, show up every day as the leader you are striving to be, and make the decision today to level up your leadership this year.